Attention Austin musicians and music industry professionals. Are you having a difficult time navigating these tricky waters? Well, the Austin Music Foundation is here to help you. The Austin Music Foundation is a nonprofit dedicated to strengthening and connecting the local music community with innovative programs that empower musicians, music industry professionals, and music businesses within Austin's creative economy. With expert panels, consultations, mentoring, and mixers, AMF's programs provide the necessary tools and opportunities to help the Austin music industry succeed. Now look, ever since COVID took over last year, everything's moved online. The consultations are online. They're at no cost to the artist or to the music industry professional. Just go to austinmusicfoundation.org. That's austinmusicfoundation.org to find out how they can help you. Austin Music Foundation is here to help. Let's get down. Attention Austin guitarist, are you in need of setup or repair on your axe? Well, I have the guy for you. That's my friend Jason Swedberg over at J. Scott Lutherie. You can find him at J. Scott Lutherie on Facebook. Gang, I've been taking my guitars to Jason for over 20 years, and not only does he do the very best job, but he has the fastest service and the best prices in town. Find him at J. Scott Lutherie on Facebook or jason.swedberg@gmail.com. Gang, whether it's acoustic or electric, Jason is your guy. Get your guitars fixed.
And you may ask yourself, well, how did I get here?
It's time for How Did I Get Here? And now here is your host,
All right, hello, I'm Johnny. I'm your host. Welcome to the show. I hope you guys all had a good weekend, whatever it is you did this weekend. I had a good weekend. I got back to work with Skyrocket. Actually did 2 nights in a row. We did our live stream from Darren's house on Friday night. That was a lot of fun. It was good. And then Saturday we went out and played a fundraiser for a Catholic school here. It's over by Barton Creek Country Club. It's in a fancy area. But it was a windy, cool night, very cool. And the wind was blowing. And we played like on a football field. It was really fun. It was fun playing for people, actually. I'll tell you what, watching people dancing. I mean, we were very far away. We were like, well, I could tell you we're probably like 15 yards from the audience. That's right, 15 yards. And I say that in football terms because we were on a football field. And yeah, man, so we played it. Their auctions and shit ran a little late, so our show ran a little short. But we actually got shut down by the cops, man. The cops came out and said, no more. You are disturbing these rich people in this neighborhood, which led me to think on my drive home. I was driving home and I was thinking to myself, there's like things going on here where people have moved downtown. They've moved into areas that are entertainment districts, and they've moved there to live, right? Because it seems cool to live there. But they're also complaining about the sound. Now, the sound has been gone for a year. There haven't been bands playing outside of clubs, but it's coming back. And there's a lot of ordinances sort of being looked at, being viewed, kind of going to change the dynamic of what happens with live music in this scene here. Probably in every town here in America, because all the downtowns and entertainment districts are becoming, mixed use areas where there's residential and commercial, and the entertainment sort of like public areas where people go hang out and dance and listen to music. I'm very curious to see what happens. I hope that this COVID-19 didn't sort of kill that for all of us for the rest of the time, because it's been relatively quiet for a year, and the people that enjoy the quiet aren't necessarily the people that go out and enjoy the music. So it is quite a fight, and once again it becomes like this who's got the money to tell the dudes to tell the people to stop, like just like the other night when we were playing the show. Cops came out. We only had like 5 or 6 minutes left in the fucking show. Still had to shut it down, man. Hey, these people don't want to hear this. What's happening to the world? What's going on with that shit? I got to tell you, there's even more disturbing stuff. I've been checked out of the news for a couple of months. Ever since that snowpocalypse, I checked out. I got a girlfriend. We do stuff. I'm not just sitting at home watching news shit all night, freaking out about what's going on, which we all kind of spent a year tuned into the news. Obviously, we were living through a pandemic and an insane dictator and trying to figure out what was going to happen. And there was an election. All that leads to like news overload. But once I checked out of the news, I realized that I was a lot happier of a person. I was a lot less sort of anxious. Took away a certain amount of anxiety for me. But I got an email. Well, my whole family got an email from our Uncle Chuck this morning. He wrote us and sent along an article from the Washington Post talking about all the gun violence this year and the mass shootings. Did you know that there have been 109 days in 2021 so far, and there have been 152 mass shootings in that time? That's fucking disturbing. That's an awful, awful number. Even worse, there have been 5,563 gun violence deaths in that same time period. It's 4/20. It's April 20th. And there have already been 5,563 gun violence deaths this year so far. That's an awful number. It's almost like a plague, right? It's going to be, more than 20,000 people by the end of the year if we keep it up at that number. That's an insane amount of people being killed with guns. We live in this open carry state where people can just walk around with their guns. Hey, man, I got a gun. All right, you can't take my gun from me. Fuck that, dude. Lock that shit up, man. People keep on making guns, and it is a matter of, these are our own freedoms. And the capitalist society, which we are, when it turns into an unregulated mess, you end up with things like snowpocalypse. You end up with things like, 5,563 gun violence deaths this year. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Guys, I don't know what we can do. Write your congressman. But you know what? The thing is we don't have enough money to give them like the NRA does, It's a disturbing culture we live in. And I want to thank my Uncle Chuck for sending me that because it really opened my eyes. I have been checked out of the news, and I have been enjoying being checked out of the news, which is, I don't know, somewhat normal, right? Playing gigs, learning songs, hanging out with a girl that I really am into, doing cool stuff. Hanging out with Scrappy. I was hanging out with Scrappy Judd Newcomb yesterday, having some coffee at a cool place and some breakfast. And all of a sudden he pulls out his phone. He's like, oh my God, there's been a shooting. 3 people up at the Arboretum. That happened this weekend. I still don't really know what happened. I know that it's not like, it was actually a domestic thing. It wasn't like a mass shooting where someone just shot a bunch of strangers. Equally as bad. Everything is terrible here. You know what I mean? With all this gun shit. So it's our freedoms, that are being, the Second Amendment allows you to own a gun because you need one. Do you need one? Do you need one? The only reason you'd have a gun is to shoot somebody, right? If you didn't have the gun, then you wouldn't shoot somebody. I don't have a gun. I won't shoot somebody. Someone might shoot me. I don't know. It's, not funny. It's fucking weird to think that. But I choose to not give myself the option of shooting anyone. I think if everyone else took that option away from themselves, there would obviously be a lot less shootings. It's the only logical way. But of course, once again, we do live in Texas where there's open carry and it's like the fucking Wild West. This place was once its own country. I used to be really proud of being from Texas. And I got to tell you, over the last, decade or so, it's really declined. It's a disturbing place. It is. One thing though, Texas does make great music, has a tradition of great music, has a tradition, especially Austin in the area, of having like these artists that combine both traditional sort of styles of music with psychedelic music. Started happening in the late 60s and early 70s. The Cosmic Cowboys here. And that tradition has pushed on. And I'm glad I'm putting this show out on 420. And I'm glad I'm changing the subject from the gun thing to the Cosmic Cowboy thing, because I have a great show for you guys today. Happy 420. All right. Today's the day that people celebrate. And weed's not even legal. You can carry a fucking gun, but weed isn't legal. Okay, I'll stop. Happy 420. I hope that if you're partaking now. I don't necessarily need a day or a time to tell me when to partake. I just do it when I want. But I do acknowledge 420 as a great day, and I do acknowledge the Cosmic Cowboy movement as a great movement from Austin, the thing that made it uniquely itself, right? Well, that tradition carries on with a great band from Austin, Texas called Stone Wheels. Stone Wheels was in the artist development program at Austin Music Foundation with us, and they put out 2 new singles earlier this year. But now, today, 420, they're releasing their brand new EP, From the Forest to the Sea. Fantastic fucking album. EP, whatever it is. It's amazing. It was produced by my friends Frenchie Smith and Einar Pedersen. Amazing record. Andrew Gerfers, the lead guy, is an amazing songwriter and comes from that sort of world. Like in his world, like he lives out in the country. He writes songs about nature. There's psychedelic songs. There's part of them is like, half Chris Christopherson, half Pink Floyd at their most psychedelic. You know what I mean? What a fucking great band. And they're celebrating the release of From the Forest to the Sea, which is out today. You can go to stonewheels.com. You can go to stonewheelsmusic.com to find out where to get it. Though you can get it on Bandcamp. I'm sure you can stream it wherever it is you stream. But they are celebrating the release of From the Forest to the Sea with a release show tomorrow, Wednesday, April 21st at the Far Out Lounge at 7 p.m. They'll be doing a very long 2-set show from 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. Come on out, get involved, listen to music from the forest to the sea. They're great singles that they've released, Nothing More, Nothing Less, and Lean Into the Light on our ATX Gen Next Adventures in Lockdown album that Austin Music Foundation put out, which you can find. You can probably find the link at stonewheelsmusic.com. Just go to stonewheelsmusic.com. You can see videos for Nothing More, Nothing Less. You can see a video for Lean Into the Light. You can get links to the record. And don't forget to go to the release show if you live in Austin, Wednesday, April 21st at Far Out Lounge, 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. Also, they're doing their live streams, the duo live streams, Landis Armstrong and Andrew Gerfers, 8:30 to 10:30 on Fridays on their Facebook page. Listen, they've got a lot of events going on, but mostly I'm telling you, go to stonewheelsmusic.com, get the record or the EP, and go to the release show tomorrow night, Wednesday, April 21st at the Far Out Lounge, 7 p.m. All right? Also, get rid of your guns. And without further ado, enjoy my conversation with the amazingly talented Andrew Gerfers from Stone Wheels. Let's get down.
Found a space way out west while I was wondering where your spirit's free to run. Where the old ways of speaking seem to roll right
Dude,
off the tongue.
From the forest to the sea.
Yeah, man.
You really, this has been, the Stone Wheels, you've been on a great trajectory.
Dude.
Like, when you came on, we were talking about you were going on ACL.
Yep.
And
First
then,
time. Yeah, this is the third time back here. And
Yeah.
before we were promoting the second time, the Nothing More, Nothing Less single, maybe?
Yeah. Yeah. From just a couple months, then you got in the ADP program and you recorded those 2 songs with Einar and Frenchie, and then took that vibe and kept it going and went back in and did a whole EP, 6 songs.
Yeah, 6 songs in addition to, not in addition to those 2, but those 2 set the stage for moving on. I knew our sonics were going to be badass. Remember when I submitted the demos in the ADP?
Yeah.
A few of those were on there, and you mentioned one of them, hey, this would be cool too. And I was like, by then I think I'd already had it in my mind, Nothing More, Nothing Less would be cool. And then I mentioned, well, that'll be on a concept EP coming up. Right. Which we hadn't even, I just had titles written down, but we weren't even really serious about recording yet because we hadn't started recording. We hadn't done the ADP singles yet. But once we started doing that, saw how much. First it's the air conditioner,
Started-
and then my phone. I'm gonna kill that. Thank you all for your Venmo tips. We really appreciate that. That was our first live stream, or my first solo live stream. 3 months into pandemic, I left my ringer on for Venmo, and it never blows up like it did that day. But people were like, they knew I was happy to be streaming, and so there was all that support money coming in. I made rent in one night. It was just like, God, that was awesome, but it didn't last.
No, it didn't.
But it was funny having all those blinky things. But anyway, going back to ADP stuff, like it was a concept album because I wanted to do those, 3 and 3 kind of deal. But then once it was real, because what would we do? 2 tunes in a day? Didn't we do at the ADP? Did we do 2 tunes a day? And they had to be done in. Oh, maybe it was recorded in one day, and then they would mix on their own time later. But it was all about maybe tracking.
Right, you had 2 days because you had 2 songs.
Oh, right.
Right.
And they were sequential like that.
Right.
So once I saw the amount of work getting done, the focus those guys got, Einar and Frenchie, like, there's no phone looking. I think we probably talked about this the second time. Like, they're into it, man. Everybody's head down and trying to make the best stuff possible. They're going to be blamed too if something's shitty. So they don't want anything shitty going on. So produced by those guys, like, it's going to be dope. So, and I trusted their decisions. And so I was excited to go in there like, well, we'll just stay here and do these 6 songs. This will be great. And they liked working with us too, I think. So
totally,
it would be great. Yeah, come in and do more jams. And so I guess we started in mid-December, December 14th, I think was our first tracking day. 4/4 to the C, day 1. I went in a couple of days with Einar and Room B, kind of mocked up some drums because we were going to do send it out. We're going to do a bunch of pre-production where I do the drums, send stuff out, and people self-record at home, send that back in. You know what I'm saying? Like stuff that you're not thinking about doing when your real life's going on. So that kind of got held up. No one's really returning tracks and we're in the middle of pandemia. So you can't really expect people to be pre-pandemia busting ass. So anyway, we realized that wasn't going to work, putting it together pre-production. But by this time, we'd kind of thought everything through, how we were going to do stuff, and then just started laying out basic tracks. I think Einar and I started with shakers over my original guitar parts. I played guitar to lay down the templates, and then we put percussion over. So when we came in full band at the next session, we had something human-y going on besides clink, clink,
yeah, Jesus.
clink.
Did you play your thing to a click, click, click?
Yeah, I played that to a click. Better or worse, but maybe double track some acoustics. And I was going through my Fishman amp with my pedal chain, and so throwing in some like Memory Man delays and whatnot. So I wanted to be experimental. I really wanted to stretch out a little bit and kind of make a record that, and yes, bloat it a little bit. And we're going to make these transitions. They're going to be cool. We can flex different vibes of ourselves, of the band and stuff like that. So yeah, in 30 minutes, dude, and it does feel like a sonic adventure because when Three Stormy Capes ends, it's like, dang, it's not that long. It's only 30 minutes, So you've heard 6 songs, and then to start it back over again. I haven't looped it yet, but yeah, I'll finish the 6 songs. I'm still digging it. I'm excited about it, dude.
Dude, I am too.
It sounds badass.
It's great listening to it. Yeah. I was listening to it on my 80s speakers.
Oh, when I walked in, I thought it was Black Cow.
Yeah,
yeah, dude. It's
just so you guys know, I was sitting. I had Stone Wheels playing in my studio, and when Gerf walked in, he said, "Oh, awesome! You're listening to Steely Dan."
Just to give y'all an idea of the easy listening stylings of the new Wheels EP.
It's so good, man. So also, man, I gotta say, so you're a drummer and you play with Paula Nelson, and you make money as a drummer. You're a professional drummer.
Yeah.
And you had the bass player play drums. I mean, he's fucking great.
Yeah.
Like,
in High Country, Colorado?
He played on, Einar played on the whole EP.
Yeah. Yeah, well, he didn't play drums on the whole EP. He played, he played drums on the verse parts of High Country, Colorado.
Oh, okay.
Because we'd never played that. I never put drums on that. And it just seemed, I didn't naturally want to play something that.
So you played drums?
I played drums on everything except those. I played in the middle.
Oh, okay.
Sorry. The middle jam of that.
Okay.
Of High Country, Colorado, which was probably an earlier take, and then it was just like.
Well, then you're fucking great.
Yeah, thanks, dude.
Yeah.
And Einar killed High Country Colorado, and him doing his stylings, kick and snare, and then added the cymbals on top of that.
Right.
It was so many different applications of like, hey, whoever's going to get this job done, because when you're early on, you're like, we got to get this, because you don't know, you can't imagine overdub stage later where you're like, badass, we got original tracks.
Yeah.
Because all the getting of the original tracks, you're ringing your brain. It's great and it's horrible. It's hard to get stuff going on, and you're making a recording, you want it to count, and you're getting all your mind tricks and shit. And the ego gets bruised sometimes, and then the ego soars on a killer playback.
Yeah.
It's all over the place, man. So I feel like we were all in the trenches really making that happen. And I know it's common to record make. Those guys do it all the time, That's their thing. But when you get in the magic bubble with Bubble Trouble and you're working on that kind of stuff, it's like, cool, man, we're doing this. Everybody's so focused.
Yeah.
It's like camp. Nothing else matters. Even though you're right in the middle of busy streets over there, you hear all that traffic going by. That maybe does help kind of keep things flowing. It's not sleepy.
Right.
They would have totally different vibes if that was, Frenchie was recording in the country.
Right.
Things would not have that bubble urgency to it. Seems like there's an urgency that comes out of that place,
It's on the corner of like a busy intersection.
Yeah. So there's always cars starting and stopping, trucks.
Yeah.
When you step up for a smoke and kind of re-get your wits about you before you go back in, life's going on around you, So that's fine. Then you get back in there and you can lose track of the days and whatnot. Or there's a window in the main control room, so it was never that like, dudes, what hour is it? You were really connected to the outside. Oftentimes the control room doors open, so you got fresh air in that little side yard. It was great. Yeah. I love recording there.
Yeah.
And then you leave with some killer product.
When you listen to it, you can tell you love recording.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, big time.
I have a question for you. A couple of song questions. One of them is in Decipher the Wind.
Yeah.
Did you stole lyrics from?
Didn't steal. He is my San Antonio homeboy from 787. I forget the Alamo Heights area code. But yeah, Christopher Cross was a San Antonio guy. I moved up to Austin, back in the day. And so I've always used that line. I quote Dylan. I quote Lee Hazelwood.
I don't think it's bad.
No,
one really stood out to me. I was like,
it's really obvious.
Yeah.
He totally said that. And so my Dylan one's obvious. I think, I forget what I say. Oh, keep it with mine. I kind of do a riff on, give it to me, I'll keep it with mine. Give me your love, I'll keep it with mine. But I don't know. I'm into an obvious quote if it says what you want.
Yeah.
And then you're giving the nod to the bra. Yeah. And there's two quotes on the video, on the lyric video for next Wednesday. And so we quoted.
It'll be tomorrow.
It'll be tomorrow.
Comes out.
Oh,
yeah.
cool. Yeah,
you know what I'm
right.
saying? Yeah.
So tomorrow at high noon, y'all, on our YouTube channel, go peep our lyric video, and we actually quoted. And then the sailing song in Decipher the Wind, I quoted. Oh no, in Three Stormy Capes. If you drag things out too long here, you'll sure come to grief. A guy boat folded in the round the world race in '92. And he had said that. I can't remember his name. I'll know it by when it's time to talk. Well, I should have known it today. It's time to talk about it. Well, but he's another guy that we quoted, a sailor. I didn't say that, but he sums it up, about long distance sailing kind of stuff.
Well, you're a guy that writes to titles because you said you had a bunch of titles. You write to a title?
Sometimes in Song Game and kind of things like that. Is what you're saying. You get the prompt and kind of write around it. That might have been in spite of. I think Three Stormy Capes was in spite of. That was the prompt. You know what I mean? But so many of them are Song Game songs. It's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have any coming out soon, but for the last 15 years, there's at least 3 Song Game songs on everything I put out.
Yeah, and it makes you write. And so just because a theme is... Kate sent out like a couple of weird ones lately, and I was like, I don't know how I can work that in. But yeah, sometimes you wrap your mind. Primrose Path was a songwriter game, song game that we're doing in the Paula band. Raise a Glass, a lot of people like that song. So I'm like, dude, that's crazy. Our country club, that ain't Song Game. Yeah, a lot of them aren't, but I'm surprised how many are.
Yeah.
That Kate throws the prompt out and it's like, okay, cool. Let me wrap my mind around this.
Kate Howard?
Kate Howard, yeah. She kind of administrates our game, or songwriter circle. Game sounds to cheapen it, but it's great, man.
But it is a game, and it kees it light.
Yep.
And you got to turn in a thing. Sometimes it's terrible.
Sometimes
you ever
terrible.
turn in a terrible song?
Oh, all the time. A lot of terrible songs, and but you have to turn your editor off. And if it's late, oh man, I got to turn this in a few hours. It's a good exercise in, writing on the spot. Let me see what I can come up with. Or she said Monopoly of Love was one of the quotes, one of the things. And I wrote something that I wouldn't normally write, because I don't write about modern kind of stuff. But it was about dating sites owned by a stock traded company. They own all these dating sites, one umbrella company, and this guy buys stock. Her nephew buys stocks in the umbrella company, and so Monopoly. And she have the backstory, and so I'm not going to write about the game of Monopoly. I'm not going to write about modern kind of stuff necessarily with those kind of words. But it was fun to. All right, I'll try on modern, clever radio songwriting or whatever.
Yeah,
so, but it was cool.
So
I was learning.
What I was going to say is, you pick up these lines from other songs, or it's a nod or whatever, but you have it in your thing. Do you? Because I noticed myself doing it the other day. The other day I was watching that Hemingway.
Okay, I'm reading about it, but I haven't seen it. Yeah, totally.
I've only seen the first episode, but in it, his mom referred to his dad's depression as going to the worry place in your mind. And I fucking jumped up and wrote that shit down. You know what I mean?
I was like, it. And when those little phrases catch out, you put it in your notebook, or a lot of people put it in their phones. Lion Eyes, Eagles was written by like that.
Really?
Some guy, Glenn Fry was talking to, look at all these lion eyes, married women, ready to get loose.
Yeah, yeah.
And boom, that's it. Then you write everything around that. So many of those are like... Yeah, and I have a bunch of partials too that I've started. Like my buddy texted, I'm on the bad side of my better half.
Oh, it's great.
Yeah, I was like, dang. And so I wrote that, and I've got the kind of thing going on.
Yeah.
It's like a Boscats kind of deal. And, one of my friends, kind of say, I get high in friendly places. My buddy Ben Galloway.
That's great.
I was like, oh, dude, that's cool. So I worked that up. But the end song of that wasn't as cool to keep playing. So it's like I sullied that prompt, but I could rework that into another song,
right?
But if somebody gives you a line, you lay a stinker, it's like, oh man. But Bad Side of My Better Half is gonna be dope. It's gonna be a really good song. I'm excited to.
That sounds good,
plus
man.
that coming up. But yeah, those phrases, man, that's it.
So I want to talk about Towels in the Sun, because I feel like that, as far as like if there were like a focus track on this, are you guys looking at? I mean, do you looking at like what you're gonna?
I was thinking about what to release first. To be like, hey, check this out. This is off our thing. And I always thought High Country Colorado, because
I think it's cool. You did like the Beatles, like you put out 2 completely different singles that aren't on this record.
And you know what's cool is the first one we did, Leaning to the Light, happened, and that resolves to. I forget what key that resolved to. That's not important. But the second one we did, Nothing More, Nothing Less, doesn't resolve. It lays on the 5 of E.
Right.
And the new one starts on B.
That
lays on B.
That's interesting.
Yeah, without resolving. So we're resolving Patagonia Puddles is in B. And then the final song, Three Stormy Capes, lays on the 5, unresolved A of D. And so doing that again. And so wherever the new full length comes up, funders, raising money.
Yeah.
We're going to start that in key of A. So it's kind of an unresolved, but you resolve it on the next offering, So I don't know. We'll see what we're going to do. I don't know if a full length is the answer. You're on the right thing. You're releasing a single in a couple weeks. So one at a time. People are short attention span these days. They're not going to want to listen to 6 songs of Stone Wheels.
Yeah.
But it's just 30 minutes, y'all.
Also, I can't afford to go in and record a whole bunch of songs at once. I haven't been working
that's just a long time. And once you're recording, think of all the stuff I think of the stuff that went on to the 2 songs we did to begin with at ADB. A lot. And then you magnify that. We did 11 songs on our first Stone Wheels record, and that's a lot of stuff. Once you get 11 basic tracks, then you dress them all, and keeping attention properly allotted to all of those tunes. And you're going to love them all, ideally equally, because you wrote them and whatnot. But it's a lot to bite off, dude, for full-length albums, especially in fancy places like the Bubble and stuff. Like, once you're going into places like that, you got to do some pre-planning.
Does that... This is a good point to ask this question, is like, it is worth it to go to a place like the Bubble and work with guys like Frenchie and Einar. Why?
It is worth it because they're used to making pro-sounding records. And so anything that comes out of there, all their decisions making up to how the mix is going to be, how we're going to mix the drums. Drums need to be mixed around the vocals. That's pro kind of thinking, Let me sing like I'm going to sing and mix everything around that as we're going. They kind of have the foresight, seeing that no shitty performance is going to be allowed to go onto the tape, you know what I'm saying? And if you're playing shitty, you get a better performance coaxed out of you. But I think at the end result, the benefit of recording a place like the Bubble or Fancy Plays, working with Stuart Sullivan and the Paula Band, everything just sounds pro. Your listen backs sound pro because everything is
It's pro.
and they've been in it so long. That's the process. You kind of go do it. I don't think that these guys were learning on Pro Tools first. They were maybe learning on
4-tracks.
On 4-tracks and
Cassette.
things like that.
Yeah.
And honing their skills. And they don't even use Pro Tools at the Bubble.
No.
Einar will go over and edit something in his little room and then bring that back over and fly it into Radar.
They don't use Pro Tools as a weapon. They don't weaponize it.
Yeah, they don't. And they encourage full takes. Like that Radar stuff is just made for capturing takes. It ain't about the detailing and easy editing. You know what I'm saying?
I don't know if you and I have ever had this conversation, but I feel like one of the things that makes me feel detached from modern recorded music and new artists recording music is that their whole approach to this is carving out perfection. And my whole approach is capturing magic.
Yes, absolutely, dude. And magic's happen in different takes. The psychology of in the studio, and good producers will know if things are flagging or if we got this. Stay in there, do another take. You're getting there. They're listening. When we're tracking, this. You're not. You can't think subjectively. I can't even think about documenting the damn experience. Because you're so wanting to extract the best performance out of you. So you can't think about. I don't know. You have to be one-track mind doing that kind of stuff. I forget what my original point of that was, but
well, the thing is that those guys focus in the same. Like I guess with a lot of people that have like big studios, the reason why they still have them and they don't record in a small space is because they're capturing the magic.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, that always going on about that. I had multiple magics. At this recording of the ADP singles, and then at that EP. And one night after maybe a full night of tracking, we'd work a 15, 16-hour day, really hossing it, being focused, coffee, yerba mates, but man, I got home and laid down in silence, and there was just like perfect architecture in my mind's eye, kind of like there was just, after being and focusing on that and leaving after maybe we had some basic tracks that started overdubbing. And I hadn't experienced that before, but it was like intent, and then as if, order's in place. It was cool as shit, like a Tetris kind of situation. So metaphysical stuff happens there. I feel the magic. I call it the Magic Factory. Right. I'm sure they'd rather us use the regular title, the Bubble. But
well, man, I'm glad that you said that, because having an outside ear and an outside eye, and part of my job was paying attention to what you were doing.
Yes.
Is that you have fully taken advantage of all the opportunities given to you, like what I was saying, from the ACL performance on. It seems like you've just been taking steps up, and then it's like teaching a man to fish. You know what I mean? Like nobody gave you a fish, but over this course of time, people have taught you to fish. Yes, absolutely. And what really helps is drumming for so long and being in bands around this part of Texas for like a long time and side guying. So a cool front person. Yeah. You know what a good leader's like. Yeah. So you kind of learn all that. And then you make all your friends along the way. So the band's killer. You're working with A+ kind of people. Well, the last time I saw you in person was at the Bubble, and we were listening to some of these tunes, and I think they were mixing them. Okay, probably at the time. Yep. And the next day, you were going into the studio with Paula Nelson and Stuart Sullivan. Yeah. And she was cutting one of your songs that her dad was going to be on. Yeah. Willie Nelson. And he played guitar on it. What? He played guitar, and then Tosca String Quartet. Shit. I know, man. It's insane. And so we basic tracked after that day. We were going and going back to Pandemia, when I started live streaming, because I needed to interact with people, or I needed to interact like that. So then in July, Landis and I was like, hey man, let's start doing duo on Friday night. I'm going to do solo on Monday night. And so we started doing that. So Paula was checking us out one night and was like, that song, we need to record that song. It was Primrose Path. So she wouldn't have caught that if we weren't out playing our songs for people. You never know what. You never know. We're playing 2 hours. We're playing a lot of songs. Yeah. And so she caught that. It's like, I want to record that. And so it was like, that's great. But it could have just been like, hey, I really like that. Could have been flash in the pan kind of thing. Sure. Flash forward, maybe 2 months later. All right, y'all, we got a session with Stuart. We're going to do
this Chris song. We did Chase the Feeling, Chris Christopherson, and Primrose Path. So we're going to do a Christopherson song and a Gerfers song. You know what I'm saying? That's killer.
The fuck, man.
So dope. So we basic tracked it, and they left all that space in the solo sections. I was like, I didn't know what the plan was. You know what I mean? Throw it out to Willie and let him, cut loose on it. So I was like, y'all aren't playing the solo section, so whatever. It took a while for all that to come in because then the ice storm hit.
Oh,
so
Jesus, that's right.
we basic tracked, and then they were going to record out there and send those tracks in, but everything got kind of, hawk night or whatever. But flash forward, man, put the strings on there a couple weeks ago. Rough mix sounds excellent, but it's not even mixed yet. Stuart does killer work over there too. So everything you're coming home with, the roughs you get at the end of the night are like, wow.
Yeah, I mean, the thing with like all those places, like Arlen, or the Bubble, or the Congress House, or the Church House, or Stewart's Place. Why am I drawing a blank on the name?
It used to be the Wire, and now he's going under, or it's in the Mosaic.
But it's still Wire, right?
Yeah, I guess
Wire
it is still the Wire. Nothing around there says Wire, but it didn't say that the other place either. That was so nondescript.
I've recorded with him a few times, and I always have a great time. I really love him. I think that he's a great.
He's a lifer,
fucking dude.
Another lifer.
Total lifer. Like, yeah.
And you make commitments and you make sacrifices when you're a lifer. Some things fall by the wayside.
Yeah.
Because you're doing your art or you're doing your gift. If
right.
you're executing your gift, then that needs to take first and foremost because you're rewarded for nurturing your gift and whatnot.
Right.
I was telling my family this weekend, like, I was so far behind on my social media. My website was way out of whack. You let things get out of whack, you really, far enough, you really don't want to readdress them. Like, I had so much work to do. I knew it. I kept putting it off.
Right.
But it was always
and
in the back of my
piling
mind,
up.
dude.
Yeah.
Finally, with like one more Monday morning, it's like, if you don't do this, you can't move on you can't free your bandwidth up to get on effective shit. So 10 hours later, I've brought everything up to snuff, redid our biographies, the AMF biographies, killer.
Yeah.
Did a bunch of stuff.
Well, I saw you updated it. All our chats are on there. And
Yeah, it's great, man. And so now people
Thanks
can
for
go
doing
there.
that, by the way.
Dude, absolutely.
Yeah.
You make me sound cool, bro. That's why I like doing this show. So once I did that, and then I think that night, Paul had sent out rough mixes. Next morning, a gig offer. I notice things come with you. I think you generate gravity if you're doing, Canadian, your gift and whatnot. That attracts things. Yeah. Idle hands of the devil's work. It's all that kind of stuff. Help yourself. Get with it.
There is something to be said, and also, like, I guess social media gives people a chance to see that you're doing stuff. And I remember last summer, and I never said anything about it, but I was doing like live streams. I was doing this. I was doing that. And there was a company here in town. I don't know if I should say their name, just because I don't know who all they gave and didn't give to.
Okay.
They fucking Venmo'd me $500, and they were like, "This is for all your hard work. We see it."
Wow, really? That's so excellent.
Pretty awesome.
Yeah, but you do a lot of stuff in the music. Shining light on artists that you dig, and a lot of people listen to your podcast, man.
Yeah.
You are really involved in the music scene, so I think that's fantastic, dude.
Well, you know what? I think that it's important because I feel like if people like us aren't connected to what's coming up, then we're going to resent it and not like it. We're not going to grow. We're going to be stuck like dinosaurs, all pissed off about.
Dude, yes, absolutely.
Pro Tools.
Yeah, but since we're lifers, we're still engaged.
Yeah, you've got to stay engaged, or you're going to hate everyone.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I've been watching a lot of U2 stuff, man. I grew up on U2, and I've been watching a lot of their stuff, and just talking about their urgency of it's time to go, and how can we be new this time? How can we be? They're old dudes, same guys, but each show kind of like, why record a record if there's no new dream to?
It's pretty awesome.
With.
They do that to the detriment of their career. Like they take it all the way till everyone hates them, and they have to go away for a while and then come back. But they really do. You got to fucking admire
They're
it.
Earnest as hell. I know. Yeah. And pandemic has also given me a lot of time to spend on YouTube. Watch interviews, like learn, because I grew up loving them, but I didn't have any way to read about it unless you're reading Hit Parade or magazine or whatever. You didn't really know that much about your heroes growing up. I didn't know all that much about Van Halen. Loved them.
Yeah.
But Greg Renoff hadn't written Van Halen Rising. All the documentation of that killer because you're living real in it.
Yeah.
But now, as Bono's had, gone, they did their Joshua Tree seriousness, and then they started becoming, all right, a little more playful, etc. Anyway, even the huge songs, "Beautiful Day," all that Coldplay beat.
Man, this song blows.
It's so huge.
I like
But
that you
they
call it a
ride to the
Coldplay
arena.
beat, but
I know.
Coldplay's still the U2
Coldplay
beat.
wanted to be U2. Who doesn't want to be U2? They're huge and it's ecstatic, and everybody in the crowd gets worked up, and it's kind of this martial. Everything about the way they play their instruments, it just raises everybody up. It's amazing, and so I study this as like, wow, how do you do study Roth too? How do you make people? How do you lift that up, that energy up, man? Like that's two masters of it, and you have to kind of be hard to hang out with. I'm sure David Lee Roth's hard to be in a band with him. I'm sure it's hard to be in a band with Bono.
Have you ever read what happens like when he comes back from tour? His wife makes him live in a hotel for a couple of weeks and slowly integrate back into the family.
Bono's wife?
Because she doesn't want that guy in her house.
Yeah,
like
dude.
the Fly or whatever. You know what I mean? Yeah.
And when you're worshipped all over the world, when it's you can't even walk out your hotel room, like everything is like that. It's going to give you...
Dad, I want ice cream. What do you mean? I'm fucking Bono.
Yeah, dude, now. From Amy's and us, like, they'd get it sent. Anything you want would get done for you. So I would imagine that fucks with you. And they say that, too, in their interviews. It fucks with you. But you have to make your own adjustments, carve out your own space to live in that, like, superstardom thing. I don't know, man. That's not air I want to kind of kick it in. I like Wilco level. Wilco has flaming lips. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah.
These bands, they don't please too many Normaltons. When a lot of Normaltons are into something, I'm super suspect.
Right.
But man, Wilco listeners and Flaming Lips listeners really, and I'm omitting a lot of cool bands at this level that I dig.
Right.
But they make true art unique to them. You know their sound. I love that when you know a band's sound. You hear one bar or one beat, oh, that's totally U2 or whatever. Police, Van Halen, all the bands we're talking about, you can name that in 2 beats. 2 beats of a record, if that. Some albums we know so well, you just need like a hi-hat closing. Oh man, that's whatever.
Right.
So...
Well, definitely like the cymbals with Van Halen. Like as soon as you hear that, you're like, oh yeah.
Yeah, big time. They're so great.
So Taos and the Sun. So that's the song that we were talking about. That if it were to be a single, I mean, if I was the A&R guy.
See, I wonder about that. Okay, that's interesting. You have that feedback because it's a lot of verse. You know what I'm saying? Like the layout of it. Of course, there's that great whistling solo. Man, isn't that whistling solo?
Yeah,
dope?
It's fucking awesome.
Man.
And that's the one that has that dun 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 dun.
Again, setting up that tension, and then when you get that final chorus, it's just, and Einar did all those string and horn arrangements going on, it's really dense mix. But I love the euphoria of that outro chorus.
Totally.
In Taos, it's worth the wait.
Well, also to me, it sounds like a classic, like the chord progression, the picking pattern,
Gentle on My Mind,
the movement on it. Yeah. It has, but it also Not that it sounds so much like that. It has that vibe, but it's, how like sometimes a friend of yours will write a song and you're like, that sounds like a song I've known my whole life already.
Yeah, gotcha.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like a classic.
Yeah, that's cool, man. And I know that progression. Lucas Nelson wrote a tune called Just Outside of Austin, and that's his Gentle on My Mind. And it's a beautiful song, man.
Yeah.
But it's that D major 7, D7.
Right. Yeah.
It's beautiful.
That descending kind of like nice, sweet.
Yeah. It's so great. And I don't know why I started playing that. I think I was trying to learn Gentle on My Mind or something, and I realized that was cool. And so then that began that everything starts as a nick on something else. Ooh, I'm going to learn that. And so, that ended up kind of happening. And then that bridge was written just like, cool, we need somewhere else to go. And then you get into that different kind of vibe.
Right.
That brings you back into the exaltation.
Yeah.
So it's that adventure, sonic adventure stuff I'm talking about. There's a few of those instances in that record where you're in a new kind of territory. Sonically and groove-wise and stuff. But it's going somewhere and everything generally resolves proper, except for the last song by choice.
Right.
But I'm excited about it, and it's really adventurous compared to the stuff we've done, previously. The fidelity's great, of course.
Right. But the songwriting is it's adventurous. It's rooted in a place, but it also is like, I mean, there's like, you could say like, oh, here's this. You would be more of like a cosmic cowboy singer. You wouldn't be like a Texas country singer, like a Jack Ingram or nothing against him. But you're in a different trip.
We're singing about nature stuff. Like country
Yeah.
music to me is outdoors. Outdoors, you know what I'm saying? And uncluttered with.
But there's like a
shit.
couple of like just full on Floyd moments on this
Yeah,
record. Like,
yes.
You know what I mean? Like trip out, fucking
Yeah.
psychedelic rock moments.
Yeah, totally. And I wanted that to be, add that to the experience, and release it on 420, of course. So
Of course.
This is going to hit. This is going to be perfect. Everything, the trajectory of all this stuff, the release times and what we're putting out when, we've had a great release run. It's supposed to be 8 new tunes since December 15th, which I'll put out our first singles, Austin Music Foundation. Lean Into the Light came out December 15th. February something, nothing more, nothing less.
Right.
Another month and a half later, so like we're putting product out at a fairly regular rate, which our first record was done in 2018.
Right.
With Ben Galloway, but we just weren't able to add anything else because no one had said, "We dig your stuff, come be a part of this program." That'll give you some confidence. That'll let you get couple more songs recorded. We wouldn't be doing this without Austin Music Foundation. I wouldn't have been doing the EP. We probably wouldn't be having this discussion because there wouldn't have been a program where y'all pick a few artists you dig, help them out, shine some spotlight on them. Yeah, we definitely took advantage of all that, making videos for each song. We're really taking advantage of that, more eyes on us.
What was we have to draw from all different kinds of music when we're doing that. And this year we had to have a scaled down version, obviously, because it was a different fucking year. But the one thing about you that spoke to all of us very clearly is that there is a tradition of coloring outside the lines, of being your fucking self.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And just like being like that's what was happening. That's why Willie came here. That's why those guys came here.
Yeah. And
Because
blended their country and rock and blended that kind of thing. And singular. You hear Willie's band, you hear one note out of Trigger, you know who that is, You can tell the way Bobby plays piano.
Yeah.
It's just, yeah.
Well, and there's like an influence of like whatever was happening with, there were bands like Commander Cody and stuff that were taking their stuff from more of the psychedelic scene, because there is a full-on like psychedelic trip to all that. Like, Jerry Garcia hung out there.
Yeah, and jam bands, long, let the bands play, let the bands inhabit that space. And I've long been into that, but my problem with a lot of jam bands is the lyrical quality
Sucks.
shitty.
But you're a great, that's the thing is that I love about that scene is that these guys are great songwriters and they're just fucking stretching out while they're doing it. Yeah,
and I want that. I've long wanted that, but it's taken me a while for my guitar playing to get up to, cool, man, I'm cool with experimenting here, it's been a big journey trying to get really good on guitar, hard as I can. Pandemic has been really good for that, but I want to participate in the conversation, lay melodies in there and like steer things instead of just, okay, first position and I'm a rhythm guy. And once you get band in there, holding the groove down, then I can kind of paint a little more around there. So yeah, first 3 months of pandemic, dude, every day, and still now, almost every day, I'm really getting after that guitar, trying to unlock it. Still didn't make sense to me, but I figure if you just keep running it, keep getting your fingers all used to it, and I'm better every time I sit down to play. But I want that eureka that's just like, oh, totally.
There might be an originality to your songwriting that happens because of the limitations that you have on that
maybe
level,
so. And I'm not a strum. I'm doing a up and down strum, y'all, at home with a plectrum, but I do a lot of finger picking.
Yeah.
And so that cuts out a lot of that mid range in the mix. That's that's a relief. A lot of stuff is really pegging on that mid range. It's a dense mix. Yeah. And that hurts my ears. So I think that finger picking might free some stuff up. And then other people, kind of play off of that kind of stuff. So, but I think I finger pick almost everything on that EP, except Three Stormy Capes. I know I strum that.
So you have great guitar players. You have Landis Armstrong, and Sweet Gary Newcomb.
Yeah. Singular again, man, and you can tell they're kind of blends. Oh yeah. I can see you kind of come from both of those guys, but they have their own way of doing stuff.
They also have their own conversation going on through the song. You know what I mean?
Most definitely. And you know what's trippy? Gary recorded from home because Jenny, anyway, once we got our personnel where everybody was going to do stuff, Gary recorded from home. And they knew he had a badass mic because he brought his mic to those first few sessions. So Gary, wasn't going to come into the studio. So Gary was doing remote. Landis and Einar and myself were in the bubble, masked up way far away. And so we had to wait to fly parts in. Like, first mixes were me and Einar and our percussion stuff before we did full band.
Right.
Before Landis came in. And so once we mixed down Landis, and then you get that, then I'm listening to a quartet, and it's just Landis, just Einar and me on drums, and me playing guitar singing. And so that was cool. I knew where everything was going, but you don't have that immediate, when everybody's tracking together, you know what it's going to sound like immediately. Right. So until Gary had sent his parts in, we flew those in, then it started to take shape again. And doubt happens all the time doing that stuff, but when it was just power quartet, power band quartet, it was like, okay, that does sound good, but it's nowhere near kind of what we're going to. We hadn't dressed everything up yet. Right. And all the ups and downs. Once we flew in Gary's parts, I think we had Derek Phelps's trumpet at that point, string arrangements. The third revisiting of all that stuff, man, everything really started to come together. Maybe that was my mental architecture kind of vibe when we really had most parts in there, not fully mixed yet, but everything was on there. And then we're starting to play with stuff. Because then kind of, all right, this is going to, when the playbacks start being euphoric, like,
right.
Wow, that's great, You love that kind of shit. When we finished a playback for Permanent Path over there, after the girls played the strings on it, it's like, man, if we felt like that, imagine other listeners.
Yeah.
It was really deep and cool.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
so special like that. But you want a great playback, and that'll put wind in your sails to keep making badass stuff. So, and we're going to do it next Wednesday. We're birthing that little baby.
It's tomorrow. We got to keep on.
Oh yeah, it's tomorrow. Wednesday, 4/20.
Wednesday, 4/21.
4/21.
That's right. Yeah, I'm helping you. I'll be there at Far Out Lounge.
I did our Sam's Town Point promo for this Wednesday, but I put Tuesday, April 14th. I just, man, so much on my mind, dude. I'm getting it all mixed up. It's crazy. But thank y'all in the comment section for letting me know that I had aired.
Yeah,
they let me know.
Those guys let you know.
Totally.
So the show is everyone. You, Einar, George playing drums.
Yeah, Far Out Lounge for sure.
Landis.
It's the quintet, man. It's the quintet I've long been trying to put together, and George Duran was the final piece of this is pro action. You know what I'm saying? Everybody's been badass that we played up till to this point, but we had been working with Gary and Landis for a long time. Einar was one of the first bass players that we were playing with back in the day before he got too busy to go and left. So Einar's back in the fold, and it has been for quite a few years. And then George back there on drums, he knows what he's doing in the studio. His time's great. You know what I'm saying? He's toured. He's pro.
He's pro.
But yeah, I love this band. I love playing with all these guys. So it's finally time. We've been doing Duo for so long on live stream.
Doing Landis, yeah.
We have like 3 band shows coming up, and we haven't played Far Out, but I've just been hearing so much killer stuff.
Have you been out there? It's pretty cool.
Have not. They made a badass poster for us today. Did you see that? That
psychedelic one's fucking killer, man. Amazing. I thought you had that made.
No. That was Lawrence who books there. He's like, yeah, we'll get our graphics department to bust something out.
What?
I was like, God,
graphics department, that's so killer.
Pro. Yeah, all their look is dope. I love that, and I think our vibe fits their look. And I see who kind of plays there,
Yeah. They have a lot of different, like
Grateful Dead, covery bands, a little fishy kind of stuff, jammy.
But also,
too.
Yeah, a lot of
Trent and man, there's a lot of people I keep seeing.
We went and saw DZ there, Einar and I did.
Okay, badass. Was he and Drent playing on the same night?
No, Drent was there though. He was hanging out.
Yeah, he gets booked there. So I see the bookings, and Mike and the Moon Pies are there like 3 nights after we are. So it's a dope place, man. And so I'm excited to bring the wheels there and have a release. We partying on, and it's all us all night, y'all. 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. We'll do 2 sets. Yeah, he's like, hey man, you want us to get an opener, or y'all can bring someone on? I was like, yeah, we're kind of selfish with our time. We need a while to get going. Otherwise,
but also,
just play an hour and 15.
Yeah,
hour and 15 is not enough. You're just warmed up at an hour 15. Then you're ready to stretch. So
well, that's the kind of. I mean, it's interesting because I have a different. I mean, obviously, we all came up playing in these places in Texas, where you're either playing 3 hours at a place, you're the only band all night, or you're on a showcase thing, and your goal is to headline a Steamboat or Fitzgerald's in Houston, or Club Clearview, or Trees in Dallas.
Yeah, right.
Well, that shit, you go on at fucking midnight, and they need their bar to sell liquor till 2, so you have to play a 2-hour set, and that always drove me crazy. When Einar and I got in Gowdy, we just, touring and opening for bands, like playing 40 minutes was like, in my mind, I have more of a pop music sensibility.
Yeah. And you're playing for other bands' fans. If you're on a multi-bill, you get all, that middle band was cool or whatever. You get a lot of, and I know we've missed out on that for a long time because we do like to play long sets. And we don't play a lot.
But you should, because your music dictates that. It should be that kind of, you know what I mean? Like, that's your scene.
Yeah, exactly. And Grateful Dead played long sets. They would have openers at times, but, Grateful Dead for 4 hours or whatever.
But I like you. I don't like the Grateful Dead.
Okay.
I like what's the Rose? The
Ramble on Rose?
No.
Or,
the album.
Must Have Been the Roses.
No. The album American Beauty.
Okay, yeah, beautiful.
Okay,
beautiful. Yeah.
Beautiful record, classic record. But otherwise, like trying to listen to a live thing of them, or like
it's difficult. What the Deadhead say when he ran out of weed? This music sucks. But drugs have so much to do with it because you have to be patient in that ritual of maybe taking some psychedelics that are going to last 5 or 6 hours for you, but you take the adventure with that band and you get that everybody's heartbeat synced up and intention synced up. And man, beautiful stuff's happened because I've experienced that, you know. And it goes back to old, religious gathering. You work people up into a lather. They're reborn. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. It's I joke. I take the best parts of church youth camp, minus all the guilt and kind of demands, but take that with the best concert experiences you have. You know, receiving music from that stage, but in mass with all your people in that intention. You're not looking at one guy translate spirit kind of stuff. You're looking at spirit being made on the spot, and your vibe going, your energy back at that band influences that interaction. You know, so it's mystical stuff, dude. I had
an experience. I went and saw Brandon Temple play last night.
Okay, where? He's so sick.
At Antone's.
Okay.
And they had like a limited thing, people in chairs, and I know it was inside and stuff, but I really wanted to see him play. And so he did a cool thing with openers. He had like 3 different people, like John Marshall, the keyboard player from Black Pumas, and and this girl named Ivy Root, and this other girl that was like Latin. They each only played 3 songs. One would come out and play 3 songs. But during Brandon's set, he had this guy James Robinson singing with him. Great band, D Madness, you know, that blind dude on bass.
Yeah, dang.
Amazing keyboard player and guitar player. This woman, Chandra Washington, like dancing and doing all this crazy like movement shit.
Was she one of the openers too?
No. She was just on stage. She'd come on stage whenever she felt it in some weird costume, like covered in gold with like a light on her head. And stuff. It was really out there.
Performance already kind of stuff.
Yeah, but I was there. I started seeing this woman. She's my girlfriend now, and we were watching it, and there was just a point where I just started crying.
Oh, rad. Yeah.
And I think it's just because I haven't been around. Like, that's who. We're those people. You know what I mean?
Chills,
totally.
man. I'm getting chills.
I had the chills all night.
Yeah.
I was like in the room with people making music again.
Yeah.
And not just people, but like fucking Brandon is like
sick pro.
What he does and his music and his compositions, like they're just fucking insane and beautiful.
Yeah. Dude, that's fantastic.
Yeah, it was great. It was great.
I saw my mom yesterday for the first time in many, many months for pandemic. I told you this earlier, but man, I cried. It was such a release. Like, oh, Mom. It was a good cry. I was so happy. But I haven't gone a year without seeing my family. Or not a year, but I haven't gone that many months of like, hey, it's best we don't spread this shit around.
Yeah.
When you finally can and you got vaxxed up. Everybody's vaxxed up over there. So, man, it was great. It was a really good experience. And hearing you, I think we're going to have those emotional... We've been life's been so weird.
Yeah.
We've kind of been keeping it together as best we can. So if we can get these releases, I think shows are going to be really good coming up. I think bands are going to be really inspired to play for people. Audiences are going to be drinking it up. I think energy can go U2 level high, bro.
Yeah.
Take me higher.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what I'm thinking. It's going to be massive. And you crying by being inspired like that and talking about it, like that's important shit, man. So, I can't wait.
I was like legitimately moved.
Yeah, that's great, man.
Yeah.
Art will do that.
Yeah, exactly.
And art after pandemic. I went and saw John McLaughlin and Chick Corea and Brian Blade, a band at Bass Concert Hall a while back. And John McLaughlin's my guitar hero. My Vishnu Orchestra. I love where he's come from. All that Indian stuff. He's so devoted and great. Brian Blade, sick drummer. Chick Corea, sick.
You mean Brady Blade?
No, Brian Blade plays in Fellowship.
Okay.
Daniel Lanois. He's awesome. He's great. And so anyway, I'm there, we're about 12 rows back or whatever. and they start playing music up the stage. I'm crying. I cried the whole night. I was so inspired. Like, oh, it wasn't after Pandemia, but your heroes and Blade and McLaughlin. Those guys are just, their musical communication is so high level. And so it was great seeing all that. Whew, man.
I'm going to get some tears going tomorrow night at the Far Out Lounge.
Man, that's what I'm counting on.
7 p.m., 7 to 10, ready. 3 times. How long is your break?
Or you know what, Lawrence said, maybe, I think they start at 7:30. You know, maybe they're starting things around 7:30. 20 minutes. We have to be done at 10, so the important part is to play. We're going to play a first set, we take a break, then we're going to come back. Second set, we're going to play our EP in its entirety.
The second set?
Yeah, second set. So 30 minutes for that to get all run down. And one song y'all have never really heard before, I know it. I know that y'all haven't, so that'll be great. And then another one we don't play a lot, but we will now. I'm not going to talk song titles just yet. But anyway, we're going to play the full EP. That'll probably be like 8:30. Something like that. Yeah, 8:45.
Lean into the light still and stuff like that?
Lean into the light, big time, dude. And nothing more, nothing less. It sounded killer. We haven't really been playing that in duo. But once it got released, it's like, man, let's work up, you know, this duo action of it. And so the full band recording sounds great.
So even though you're doing this live show and you have been kind of stepping out and doing some shows at places I saw
outdoors
on your
only,
Facebook,
yeah.
Outdoors
we got
only.
a bunch of outdoor stuff coming up.
Are you're still doing the Friday?
We do stream when we can. We had a Finger Pistol gig last Friday that we both had to go to up in Round Rock. And then, but we will be on these next 2 Fridays live streaming. So we're going to keep that going as long as we can. I don't even know about moving another night because once you're busy, you're busy. A night off in the future might be that'd be great to have a night off. I worked these other 6 nights, you know, stand down on one because we're getting busy again, it seems like.
Yeah.
But yeah, keeping that live stream going on. We did play a full band show on the first day of spring. We had everybody on board, and that was our first time to run Lean Into the Light since studio. Nothing more, nothing less, full band, and then just a bunch of songs that we knew because we've been playing them for a long time. Out at this, it's called The Gift. It's like a public garden, and so it was a garden party.
Oh,
everybody's
killer,
working in the
man.
garden on the first day of spring.
Oh man.
And yeah, it was just euphoric. It was awesome. The sun, the weather was perfect.
Can Jampout happen again?
There was a Jampout, kind of a scaled down Jampout that happened Saturday night out in Driftwood that I went out for. We weren't booking bands quite yet.
Right.
Come November Jampout, we're going to be back on it. So this time was just kind of, some visiting, listening to some Bluetooth speaker stuff around the fire.
Yeah.
But it was really good. That normally bums me out, like music around music around a fire. But the conversation was so good. Everybody was so present and socializing. So it wasn't a distraction. Music can sometimes, it's just on because you're bored of everybody. But there was really good conversation. I woke up the next morning feeling like, feeling really good. Like I just interacted with humans again.
That's a great feeling.
And we forgot about that. Pandemic, we forgot about that improvising with conversation, telling jokes. It's hard to tell jokes on Zoom, man, because the lag and whatnot.
I hate Zoom. Thank you for this is in person, by the way.
In person? Is this your first in person one?
No, I've done a couple. I did Kathy McCarty.
Okay.
And I did MC Glazer.
Okay, I've seen that name.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, that's awesome.
Yeah.
And you're back to 2 a week now, right?
Yeah. I was doing too many, man.
What number are you on? What number are you on? You did
1,043.
Yeah, that's so awesome.
A lot.
1,000 of anything, Johnny Gowdy, is kick ass. So we thank you for your devotion.
Well, thank you
to being great for music, man.
Well, I have to also say thank you for being such a great. There's something about being a part of that artist development program on my end, and on Einar's end, and on Alex's end, and to see someone grow from it and take from it and immediately apply it to like keep on riding this wave of enthusiasm. Yeah, man, it really means a lot. Like that's what we're doing it for.
Yeah, I know, and you're shining a light on somebody y'all think is cool, and y'all are like, more people need to hear this. I think they could benefit from some.
Yeah.
Here's how we're gonna do it at a Pro Studio, and like we had great Zoom meetings talking about stuff. It was awesome, man.
And it felt like there was some good connections this year, at least for me, I thought. But there's a certain it's easier when the feeling is like colleagues. You know, like I didn't feel like I was your mentor.
Right.
I'm your colleague that can just see you from the outside.
Yeah,
and be like, you know what? This is what I see. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Same as Einar. And
Which
I mean,
you need. You
same
need
thing.
that third person.
We would
kind of
want
stuff.
from you. You
Yep.
know what I mean?
Yep. Absolutely.
And that's the thing about this that I hope that everybody that is ever part of the artist development program takes away from it is just the importance of this community.
Yeah.
And taking advantage of the people that are there for you as resources, as outside ears and eyes and stuff.
Right.
You know?
Yeah. So invaluable.
Totally.
Yeah, dude. I'm so thankful for the Austin Music Foundation ADP program. We've had a busy pandemic because of that. You know, and y'all scaled it down. Here's what we're going to do. Very mobile. But we put out
did you all that in the moment.
Yeah.
It was hard.
It was a immediate improvisation on y'all's part. How are we going to do this kind of thing? But man, my personal career and my band's career has never been better. It's like we're peaking. I thought we were peaking. You know, back
we're not
at
peaking.
ACL.
You're still on a trajectory going up. But I mean,
it seems like. So I said a while back, like, yeah, things could be cool here. Really releasing a couple singles. That's great, man. You know, that's a great way to be. I could die tomorrow. I've long said I could die tomorrow.
Right.
Extremely. I feel like I'm doing my work. You know, I feel like I'm doing what I'm supposed to do.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, all that kind of stuff. I've lost my train of thought about 2 or 3 times today.
That's all right, man.
And it's bad radio to be like, oh, well, yeah. Well, man, what was I talking about?
I think people come to expect that from this show. So there's like a certain style to it that I think if you're not into it, I have a couple friends that listen to it and they're just like, it is not very like focused. And you're like, well,
okay.
you know.
I like that. That's kind of absurd.
That's what just people talking is like.
Yeah. Exactly.
You know, you don't have I don't have a list of questions.
Right.
Got a list of stuff I need to remember I want to talk about.
Yeah, to touch on. I've been doing like bullet points. Oh, first of all, we need to change, you know, we've been saying bullet points for too long, but I think that could be another name for things you want to talk about. Like,
Okay.
Man, this guy was doing his bullet points in a wife beater. That's a Louis C.K. joke, you know?
Right.
But anyway, this is the comedy portion of the show. What was I talking about? Oh, when I listened to our last podcast, I'm like, dude, there's a lot of good laughing. That's fun. That's funny stuff. You're a great interviewer too. You ask good questions. You move things along. If it was up to me to govern myself about moving things along, that's not gonna happen.
I feel like that happens to me whenever they've asked me to moderate panels at for the Austin Music Foundation. I feel like I seem really impatient.
Oh, okay. Because you're used to interviewing, but you know how to move things along.
Yeah,
is that why you mean that?
I think so. I think that's what happens. Okay, so listen, From the Forest to the Sea is out now. It's an EP by Stone Wheels, produced by Frenchie Smith and Einar Pedersen at the Bubble.
On all your streaming outlets.
So it's available everywhere. But now people can go to Bandcamp if they want to throw you a little catch.
Yep, you can go to Bandcamp, throw some cash, and then you can go see our lyric video on YouTube. And that will be after the release party that we do at high noon on 420. We will have those broken down single style up there, so you can see what I'm saying and stuff. And they look cool too. And we're going to make other videos for this album too, but since they're all far away places, we're going to need some budget.
Yeah.
Patrons out there, hook it up.
Yeah. Hey, if you're listening to this the day that it comes out, Tuesday, 420, congratulations, you're probably getting high. And second of all, tomorrow, Wednesday, April 21st, Far Out Lounge, 7:30 to 10, 7 to 10.
7 to 10.
Come early.
Come early, man. Hang out with us. We're going to have T-shirts.
They got some food trucks there, too. You can have dinner out there.
Yeah, have dinner out there. The weather's going to be dope. And we want to see y'all. And y'all haven't seen us play in a long time. And some of y'all have never seen us play because we've made a lot of new friends over live stream world. So, yeah, if we don't know what you look like, come say hi.
Yeah.
It's going to be our pleasure to play music for y'all.
Do you have, like, shirts?
I will come. I have some coming in. I got 30 shirts coming in.
Good. All right.
Bella Canvas. Friends of mine told me to get those kind of things. And our logo will be on that. Then I got a test hat coming in.
Oh.
With our logo.
Oh.
Yeah. And I just wanted to get one to see what it's going to look like. But that's going to be dope. The aqua on black, all black flat bill hat. And then I'm getting some stickers printed up from my buddy Nick Trevino at North Loop Printing. And then I got some rolling papers in. I got to order for those.
Good.
But since our logo is round,
Yeah.
I'm going to wait till we get a horizontal logo to take up more of that room.
Okay.
So we're kind of in the middle of coming up with a different vibe, but horizontally.
You know who had the best actual papers in it? Kalu James.
Okay.
Sold them as merch. And like I remember calling him after I used it, I was like, "These are like the best papers I've
Dude, no
ever
shit.
found."
Were they the bleed? Were they like brown looking? Were they?
Yeah, they were a little.
Kinda?
Yeah, they weren't white.
Okay, because it's like an unbleed. Yeah, they
yeah.
gave me a few options on this. Maybe I'll ask around and find out what, I got the ones I get with my tobacco, and then I got my orange quarter zigzags, inch and a quarter zigzags. And these will be inch and a
Classic.
quarter peppers. Yeah, too. But we got to make the logo look good. Their design was cool, the company who did it for us, but we just need to take up more real estate with our Stone Wheels logo. So, the Live Oak Pills font? Live Oak's new can font?
Yeah.
That is killer. So
Yeah.
I'm looking at something along those lines. But I don't want to give away our new look yet.
No.
Y'all have to wait. But
Yeah.
our current looks dope, and you can find it on our T-shirts that'll be available for sale.
And if you don't live in Austin or you can't make it to the show, go to stonewheelsmusic.com. You can get links to all of the places where you do the things and see the live streams on Friday nights.
Yeah, absolutely. And we kick off at Sam's Town's. Oh, yeah. All right. So, and then we'll see y'all at Violet Crown Clubhouse on Saturday the 24th. We'll be
really?
there to end release week. We'll be ending release week on that day. So we'll have a release.
Where is that Violet Crown?
It's up there at Woodrow. You know where Lala's Lounge is?
No.
Justin Lane and Burnett.
Oh, yeah.
So,
It's up there.
Yeah, just about 3 blocks north of Justin Lane. It's a little strip center neighborhood. And Violet Crown Clubhouse got beers and coffee, little delis right across the street. We just set up on this really wide patio or sidewalk.
Nice.
And play just kind of in that little center. It's great. It's kind of become one of the coolest gigs in Pandemia. And people just sit in the parking lot, bring their lawn chairs, and they block off car spots, so it's just people out there.
Oh, that's killer, man.
Super cool hang.
Yeah.
No busy streets around there, so it's just deep in the neighborhood.
All right.
And that's Violet Crown Clubhouse, y'all.
Okay.
So,
And that'll be Saturday the 24th.
Saturday 4/24. Yep. And then the live stream on 4/22 or 23, that Friday live stream, we'll be talking about the EP and celebrating that. It'll be more release
It's just
week.
all kinds of like release.
Dude, I'm
release
starting on
week shit.
10/14
I'm
and I'm
excited.
going till 10/24.
Yeah.
And we have something almost every day.
Yeah.
But 4/20 is the day because
Yeah.
it's new music from Stone Wheels.
Then
which
this is
so
out. So if
exciting.
you're listening it today,
Yes.
take the bong out of your face.
Yeah.
And get this album.
Yeah, take it out of your face and roll up.
Oh yeah, with your new Stone Wheels papers.
Yeah,
Andrew,
dude, exactly.
I just called you Andrew. I don't think I've ever called you that.
I know. I
Gerf,
like it. That's cool. Gerf, I'm used to Gerf from you.
I fucking love this record. Congratulations. I'm really happy for you and I'm proud of you and I'm happy to have been around for the recording of all this stuff and now I'm gonna go see our friend Einar.
Dude, I love it.
Love you,
Johnny,
man.
you rule, man. Thanks
Yeah,
for
man.
having me here.
Thanks for
I love
doing
your
the show.
program. Yeah.
Thank you,
great
brother.
interviewing, so
You're a great hang.
this is fun, bro.
It is.
But those words remain unspoken. It's not an echo what we become.
Andrew Gerfers from Stone Wheels. What a great conversation, man. I love that band. One of my best friends, Einar, plays in that band a lot, and he also co-produced this brand new EP, From the Forest to the Sea. Go to stonewheelsmusic.com for all your Stone Wheels needs. And don't forget to go to the release show if you're listening to this, the day that it comes out, 4/20, happy 4/20. They'll be playing tomorrow night, Wednesday, April 21st at the Far Out Lounge from 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. I will be there enjoying the show. Coming up, give me an elbow bump. I'm fully vaccinated, but I'll be wearing a mask. I might be wearing a hat. So, hat and a mask combo. It's very popular around my apartment right now. Andrew Gerfers, Stone Wheels, From the Forest to the Sea EP. Go get it right now, stonewheelsmusic.com. And don't forget when you're out there checking out stonewheelsmusic.com, you can subscribe to this podcast wherever it is that you find podcasts, be it Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, TuneIn, Overcast, anywhere. New shows every Tuesday, every Thursday, sometimes more than 2 shows a week. Or every Tuesday and every Friday. What did I say, Thursday? I don't know, because that sounds like a college class. Thank you so much for listening to the show. Enjoy the rest of this great song, Towels and the Sun, from the Forest to the Sea by Stone Wheels. Have a great week, whatever it is you're doing. Let's get down.
Found a place where I could rest, somewhere that I could be someone. Where the old ways of thinking, they cannot be undone. Still those words remain unspoken, and that echo can't be outrun. Could it be I found forever between Taos and the sun. Taos and the sun. Taos and the sun. I believe I have found forever between Taos and the sun. So I got myself together, hitchhiked these highways with my thumb. Let the miles stretch out between us, between where we're going from where we've come. Gonna move till I remember where it is the many become.